Hello and welcome to episode number 70 of the Knitting Teaspoon podcast. I'm Liesbeth, your host, and this is a podcast which is all about knitting, spinning, sewing, basically all of the fiber crafts that I feel like, although lately it's been sewing and knitting. I have been away for 2 weeks and that has everything to do with me getting a flu, and that combined with me also being anemic, probably pregnancy related. I've not been feeling too great. I was hoping to podcast again last week because the flu was definitely getting better, but then my fiancé, it's still weird to say that, was on holiday for that week, and he was supposed to come back on Saturday, but then my fiancé called me late on a Friday night that they tried to check in for their flight, and they only then realized that they had made an error in booking and they had booked the flight back for Sunday instead of Saturday. So I was pretty upset about that because we had a lot of plans to do with our upcoming wedding and the baby that is due in February. So yeah, I was pretty upset that he wouldn't be there one day earlier or on Saturday as we both had expected. And I really didn't feel like podcasting on Saturday. I was just too upset. Anyway, I'm feeling a lot better and he came back and everything's fine now, but it's just not what you want to hear after you've been feeling quite lonely for a week, that it's going to last another day. And especially when I realized that day was actually the one day of the year that's actually an hour longer, because they had to, we shifted from summertime to wintertime again. Yeah, I wasn't I wasn't feeling it. Anyway, that you're not here probably to hear me complain about this unfortunate bit of communication that my boyfriend had planned his holiday wrongly. Was also unfortunate for them because they didn't have a hotel for the last night, so that was a bit of an emergency planning for them. Anyway, so let's get into the regular content of this episode. So let's get started with what I'm wearing, and I am wearing my Dusala cardigan that I have added some lace panels on from the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible. The yarn that I've used for this cardigan is Lily Pond yarns, and it's that peaches and cream colorway, and I believe it's high twist sock yarn. I believe that's something like 85 or 80-20 merino nylon. Not 100% sure on the fiber content, but I do think it's a high twist merino sock yarn. Anyway, so, and underneath that I'm wearing an Agnes top as usual. And it hardly fits over my belly, but you can't see the part that's coming up high now, so that's fine. Anyway, so let's get into what I've been doing, and I'll just start in not so much chronological order. I have made 2 new pillow covers. Yay! And here is the pillow cover, including my pillow. It was a long overdue because, we have these pillows that are slightly weird shaped. They have this curvy edge on the bottom side, which is really nice for sleeping, but it's not so nice if you don't have pillow covers that follow the curve of this pillow shape. So I had already made 2 pillow covers previously for our pillows, but of course they need to be washed every now and then, and while they were in the washing we would sleep on our old pillow covers, and would just be a lot of excess fabric flapping around there, and it's just annoying to sleep on those wrinkles. So now we finally both have 2 pillow covers, so we can switch. While one is in the laundry, we can use the other one. So that's great. And this is also a hot washed cotton fabric that I've used for it, which makes the fabric look a little bit wrinkly, but that's apparently intentional. And I had originally purchased this fabric with the intention of making some project bags out of it, but I didn't like it for project bags, especially because it's a little wrinkly, but it also means that because it's been washed at a higher temperature to create this wrinkly effect, it will not shrink as much. So you can also wash it a bit hotter, which makes it even more suitable for bed linen. So yeah, I'm really pleased with having 2 new pillow covers, and I don't know why I haven't made them earlier, because they are very, very nice to use. Whew. Then let's get into another project that I've been working on, and it's not quite finished. It's also a sewing project. I've been sewing a maternity top, and I had already shown you on last podcast that I was planning on making this maternity top, because it has this, well, how do you call that? In Dutch we say overslag or something. So it has this folded neckline, and this is supposed to be very nice also for breastfeeding, but I was actually using this pattern mostly because I wanted to see if I could use some of these measurements for making my wedding dress. But once I made this, I thought this just looked very weird on me, and I didn't like it so much, so I decided not to use this pattern at all to, you know, use for the wedding dress making. I also still haven't finished the sleeves and the bottom hem, because, well, I didn't like it. So yeah, no top priority for me. Still, I will very soon need some bigger garments, because I'm still wearing a lot of my old shirts and undershirts, and that's going to be a problem very soon, because I'm going to overstretch them and not be able to use them after pregnancy. So I should stop wearing them and make some more maternity clothes for myself, or maybe buy them if I don't find the time to do that. Anyway, so that's the top that I don't really like, and I still need to finish. Then there is another project that has seen some love over the past few weeks, and it's not my wedding dress. I will come to that. I obviously worked on that, and I'm also dropping stitches like a pro. And I'm also not at the end of the row. I'm actually pretty close to the start of the row, but I've been continuing on my baby blanket, and it has grown a bit, but not that much. It's not that impressive of a difference, but just to show that I'm still working on it, still enjoying it. It's just not my top priority, so this is a project that I will take with me when we go somewhere in the car, somewhere where I can't concentrate on the lace for my dress. So yeah, this is a take with me project, and I have obviously continued working on the skirt for my wedding dress. So let me make sure that I'm not dropping stitches on this project, because that's going to be a little bit more annoying when I have to pick those up. And it has grown quite significantly. I don't think this entire lace section was there last time I showed you. I think I was somewhere here-ish. I'm not quite sure. I'm on the 6th skein right now, and yeah, it's growing steadily, and I'm almost to the point where I can add the knitted on border. When I'm wearing it from the waist, I've put an elastic through here, because I have tried to fit it this week. Also, Karel, if you're watching, please stop, because I'm going to tell you things that you might not yet want to know if you want to, you know, not see my dress before our wedding. Anyway, so what was I saying? I put an elastic through the top bit, because I have fitted this dress this week, so you can now see the elastic for the top a bit better, or what the waistband is looking like. and the waistband is like immediately above my ever expanding belly, and it's expanding quite rapidly. I also, which I cannot show you because I don't have it here, have been working on making the dress that goes underneath it, and I cannot show you now physically because I don't have it with me. I've made it mostly over the course of the Saturday and Sunday when my boyfriend wasn't here, when he was supposed to be here. I was upset and I was like, I'm going to do something that I can only do because he's not here. So I cut out the fabric for my wedding dress. I had it back at my place for a while because I wanted to wash and dry it while my boyfriend was on holiday. Anyways, so yeah, I made most of the dress on Sunday, and then on Monday I continued working on the dress at a friend's place, and there I also had my first fitting. I am still planning on trying to also make a tiny cropped cardigan for the top part of the dress, but first the skirt needs to be finished. That's most important. And yeah, I'm making a nice bit of progress, and on Monday I have finished the edges of the sleeve. And one thing that is feature, I think, of the dress is it is like a circle skirt from my waistline, which is pretty high up, but underneath there is also like a more form-fitting belly part, which just keeps my belly nice and warm, because we are getting married in January and we are expecting it to be cold. Average temperatures are 4 degrees Celsius, so that's just above freezing. Obviously we don't know what the weather is going to be like exactly. Could be a lot warmer, could also be a lot colder, so we will have to see nearer the date. But yeah, I just wanted something that is like warm over my belly, and not like have the cold from the ground come all the way up, because it's a long skirt underneath there, and I like the fact that I would always have something in the same color to wear underneath. So there is a belly part. It's not really visible, but it's there. Yeah, and it's been an adventure to cut the top part to a size that was nice and fitting. I did that with my brother's girlfriend. We tried on a piece of black fabric first, and until I liked the fit, and yeah, I made the dress, and now the sleeves are hemmed. I still need to hem the bottom part. The skirt is actually a bit too long, and I think that's mostly because the fabric is quite heavy, so it stretches under its own weight. I will have to see exactly how long I want to cut the skirt, but that's not a top priority. Let's just first get a little closer to the date and see how much my belly will grow, for instance, because that will determine how much the front bit of the dress is going to be lifted. So it's all a bit difficult because I have no clue as to what my size is going to be in, well, just over 2 months now. It's very exciting. Anyway, so the skirt is coming along nicely, and I liked at some point also hated knitting this part of the lace because it was very repetitive. It was like 4 rows that were the same for a number of repeats, and not that that's very bad, but at some point you just want to knit something else. And I'm very glad that I'm now at a point in which the lace is different for every row, so yeah, it's a little bit more challenging to knit it, which I like. So yeah, I'm really happy with the progress on this one so far. And then there is one more project that I've been working on, and that's everything to do with not past Friday or actually I'm podcasting today on a Friday because tomorrow we have plans. But last week on Friday I went to Knit and Knot, which is a fiber event or yarn event that I have talked about previously because I've visited several times before in Tilburg. And yeah, I wasn't actually planning on going because I felt like I don't need any more yarn, or maybe I need some additional skeins to be able to finish my wedding dress, but I have this one project that I can work on now, and I don't have time for any other projects at the moment. So why would I go and buy more yarn? But then I felt pretty lonely when my boyfriend was away, or still have to get used to the word fiancé. Anyway, and so I went there with my mother-in-law to be. So his mom is also a knitter, and we went there. I was planning on just trying to pick up some soak, which is quite difficult to come by here. Just some wool wash, well, laundry, something. But I couldn't find it. What I did find though were two of my favorite stands there. And one of them is Wools of Holland, and I did make a purchase there, as you do. So I have purchased a skein of merino for ply, and this is 100% Dutch merino, and it's just a sock weight yarn, and yeah, it's 100% Dutch merino sheep. So these sheep, they actually graze in the Netherlands, and there's not that many herds of merino sheep in the Netherlands apparently. But yeah, this feels nice and soft. It's not super wash treated, which is nice because I'm actually planning on using washable diapers for our baby when it arrives. And apparently with non-superwash treated yarn and a lot of lanolin, you can make almost waterproof over some kind of over diaper, something that you put over the cotton bit or the bamboo bit that you use inside to keep like the clothes of your baby dry. And it just seems a much more natural solution than putting a lot of plastic on my baby. So I'm willing to give that a try, and therefore I purchased this skein with the intention of making some, I don't know what it's called in English, luierbroekjes. So yeah, I've also picked up some camperwool with some seaweed. So this is supposed to be a proper sock yarn. So I believe the seaweed is supposed to give it some strength like nylon would, except that it's the natural material and it's dyed with indigo. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. This is one skein of 50 grams. I have two, and I'm planning on making socks out of this at some point, but this is not a priority project. And then I also visited my other favorite stand at Knit and Knot. There's actually another seller that I really like, but she wasn't there this year. So so I went to visit the ladies from Schaap en Draak. And this may seem like a familiar skein because I've recently knit a baby sweater out of exactly this color, but this is a DK weight yarn, and I actually knit it out of a superwash VFL nylon sock yarn. But I was planning on making a similar diaper pant something for our baby out of this yarn, and the lovely ladies there, well, some of them had some experience with doing the washable diapers themselves, so they could advise me on what wools to pick for this. So yeah, I was very happy with this information also, where I could find a lot of other supplies that I would need. So they were very friendly and helpful, even though, well, they just recommended a lot of websites that obviously don't give them any profits. So that was very nice. So this is the warm sheep, warm schaap, yarn, so it's a DK weight, non-superwash treated yarn by Schaap en Draak. In the Eenhoorn Stars Zwart colorway, which is unicorn teal black. And I also have yarn from them in the same base, and this is called a pauwvogel, which would be something like peacock bird or peafowl maybe. And it's a purple and blues and green yarn. And I have also purchased some fiber to spin with at their place. This is the same color but yet to be spun. So I may use this to spin yarn to eventually make the same product with, but it's also just a very nice BFL, so I'm not sure what this is going to be, but might just become the same kind of product again. And then also one in this color. I'm not sure if this one has a name because it just says Blue-Faced Leicester. Anyway, it's a nice bright rainbow and I really like that, and I've been watching Gemma B makes I'm not sure if it was on her podcast or on Instagram, but she's shown pictures of her rainbow spun from Spin City UK, and I've purchased the same highlighter rainbow braid from them, and I had a very different result, so I was inspired by Gemma to start spinning on a rainbow again. Not that I have done that yet, but I have purchased yarn for it. And then I also purchased this skein, and this is from Knuffeldraak, so that would be something like either Cuddle or maybe Plush Dragon. It's an Aran weight BFL, and it's in this color, and it's dark blues and grays, and you can obviously see that it's caked and that there's something dangling down from it, and that's because I was planning on making some kind of diaper or something out of this yarn, but when my boyfriend got home and he saw, and I showed this skein, he was like, but I really want gloves out of the yarn or mittens. So I started on making some mittens for him because it's been freezing in the nights, and he has been having to, scrape up the ice of the window screen of his car in the mornings. So I decided it's time to knit him some mittens, which is long overdue, and it's also nice to have a little bit of a change from working on the wedding dress over and over again. And this is also, I'm still on the ribbing, although I'm not quite sure if I want to leave the ribbing this long or maybe just knit it 4 rows longer, but it's going to be an easier knit, like mostly straight knitting with a slight bit of shaping, for the thumb hole, and that's basically it. Whereas the dress is constantly paying attention to what you're knitting. It's definitely not something that I can knit without watching. I can still watch a podcast, but then I would probably mostly be listening to a podcast while I was knitting on my wedding dress. It's not so much actually watching because I need my eyes focused on on what I'm doing with the wedding dress. So I think that's it for today, and I hope you guys have a lovely week. I hope to see you again sooner next time. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to podcast next week, although we are planning on building our baby room or nursery, I believe that's called in English. So we currently only have 1 bedroom in our house, and we have been trying to buy a house, but the market is very difficult at the moment. So if you call a real estate agent, like, most houses are sold within the hour, and it's just difficult to know every time when a house is on sale. So it's very difficult to even go and see a house. No, it doesn't even matter how much money you have at the moment. So it's a bit depressing sometimes, because we had some appointments so far and they've all been cancelled before we got to see the houses. So yeah, because the houses already were sold. So anyway, so we are trying to renovate our house and add an extra bedroom or nursery for now. But that's going to take a lot of time over the coming few weekends, because I need my boyfriend with me to do that, because it's not a one-man job. Anyway, so somewhere between renovating, I should find some time to podcast, I guess, although likely in front of a different background, because I believe that we are moving our computer area here next week, and I'm not sure where the couches are going to go, but we will see. It's going to be a mess in our house, that's for sure. Anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely week or a lovely time until I see you next, and yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!